Back here on Sportsline, talking college basketball tonight. A lot of stuff to break down from the weekend. And as we get set now for the NCAA tournament, phone lines are open. 737-7767 is the number. Middle Tennessee, big win over Western Kentucky last Thursday night. Dampened ever so slightly by the loss to Marshall over the weekend, but an outright Conference USA championship once again for the Blue Raiders. Think about this. They've won the last 4 basketball championships in the league. Won the conference tournament 2 years ago. Last year they sweep regular season and conference tournament titles. Now this year the regular season title and the 1 seed for the conference tournament this week down in Frisco. Complete domination by this Middle Tennessee team. Complete. The program has absolutely set the school on the map, and everybody around the country has taken notice. This is an NCAA tournament team. I don't care what happens down in Frisco. They've done enough in my mind, and I think they've done enough in a lot of the experts' minds around the country, because when you watch this team play, they look like an NCAA tournament team, and they certainly did on Thursday night against Western Kentucky. I mean, remember, Western Kentucky walked into that game with an opportunity themselves to still win the conference championship last week. And essentially right from the start, Middle controlled the game. Little flurry right before half gave them about an 8-point lead. Antoine Johnson banked in a 3 at the buzzer of the half. Huge moment of the game, certainly a momentum builder. But that second half was all Blue Raiders. Nick King, Brandon Walters just pounding away inside, and Middle took care of business, running away with that one. They led by 20 in the second half of what should have been essentially a championship type of game. It was a phenomenal atmosphere. They were ranked last week. They looked like a ranked team. It felt like a ranked environment. It was just really fun stuff. And if you haven't been down to the Borough lately to watch a Middle Tennessee basketball game, make sure you put it on your calendar for next year. Make sure you put it on your calendar. Go down there and check out Kermit Davis's team, because the atmosphere, the environment they've built in that arena at the Murphy Center, the way they've redone things there, the improvements they've made to the facility, and most importantly, the improvement to the team on the court. They're big time. They are a big time team now. And that was a huge win on Thursday night to wrap up the Conference USA Championship. After the game, I got a chance to talk to Antoine Johnson, star of Middle Tennessee on that night, had 17 points in the game as the Blue Raiders wrapped up the Conference USA title. Back-to-back Conference USA regular season champions. Antoine Johnson, how does that sound?
It sounds real good. You know, it's just good to see that all the hard work that we put in, you know, came out.
You came out, scored 5 quick points. Team jumped to a 7-0 lead. You had the big 3 right before the half. This seemed like a team that was just not going to be denied tonight.
Oh, yeah. We knew that we was going to have to come out and play against Western, you know, because they really a good team. And, you know, we just wanted to come out and, you know, get a first punch.
The seniors carried the way in a big way. You played terrific tonight, and it comes against your biggest rival. Could you write a better script?
Nah, we couldn't. You know, if we wanted to, you know, redo it again and play this game again, I wanted to be the same way, you know.
You guys on the floor after the game, you get to cut down the nets. That is always nice. But I got the feeling this team still feels like there's a lot more to be done this year.
Oh, yeah, we definitely know what we got left ahead of us. You know, we got Frisco next week, and we just going to try to, you know, win more championships.
And then the NCAA tournament after that. Antoine Johnson, congratulations. Enjoy it for a short time, but still Marshall coming up on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Antoine Johnson after the big win on Thursday night, even with the loss to Marshall on Saturday, which snapped an 11-game winning streak for Middle Tennessee. The Blue Raiders are still the #1 seed in the Conference USA tournament as they head down to Texas this week at the Dallas Cowboys facility. It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. They get the bye through the first round into the quarterfinals, and they will play Thursday night, 6 o'clock, against either the winner of Southern Miss or Florida International. And that should be a win, and then you possibly have the rematch against Marshall on Friday, and then likely either Western Kentucky or Old Dominion in the championship game for the chance to win an automatic bid. I don't think they need it, but you can put all the doubts to the side if you just go ahead and take care of business and win that. And I know that is the goal for Nick King and Antoine Johnson, Giddy Potts, Kermit Davis, and company down there. Let's go to the phones here. Phone lines are open, 737-7767. If you'd like to get in on the program tonight, let's say hello first to Bob. Bob, good evening.
Hello, Steve, my friend. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for the call.
Looking good and younger every time I look at you. Man, I'm jealous.
Well, thank you.
I have a question for you. And I would like your thoughts on what I feel, which is that the MMA should be banned. Now, these guys aren't wearing football helmets, right, buddy?
Nope.
They're using gloves that I used to use in the old days. When I got done skiing, I would cut the fingers off and just have enough left to bust somebody up. And you know what? 30 years, these guys are going to be mush walking around looking for entitlements or placing their lawsuits, against the people that they fought and made them rich. So what do you think? Is your professional opinion, is the banning of MMA coming anytime soon?
I doubt it, Bob, because I think mainly it's just become such a big business at this point. I know there are some people out there who would like to talk about it, or at least talk about doing serious things to make the sport safer, but let's be real, this has become a billion-dollar business at this point with the UFC and MMA fighting and those sort of things.
Steven, so is porn. Don't we have to get rid of porn?
That's not really a topic for this show, but I'm pretty sure it's not going away anytime soon either.
How about it? Corruption everywhere, America.
Yeah, I will say this, Bob. One thing about the MMA, which is why I actually probably wouldn't favor doing anything against it. And I'm not a big MMA fan. I don't get that much out of two guys just beating each other up. That's not a sport that particularly interests me, but it certainly has a big following. And I guess what I would just say to that is I'm not generally for legislating things that adults know what they're signing up for. I would have a real problem of sending, a 12 or a 13-year-old into an octagon and having them doing that. But these are adults. These are 18, 19, 20, 22, 25-year-old guys, and they understand. And, for the most part, they're getting paid very well to go into those octagons and beat each other up. And for the guys who have long-term problems with it, they got paid for the suffering that goes into it. Now, yeah, you can certainly debate whether that's ethically right or not, but kind of the same thing you hear with a lot of NFL guys when you talk to them about concussions or long-term things with the knees and the hips and those sort of things, is most of them will tell you, I knew what I signed up for when I got into this game, and we get paid really well to do it. And so ultimately when I'm done, whatever happens to me, I'm not going to complain about it. And
Steve, what I love about MMA is the fact that when they're using what I was taught from one of Bruce Lee's students in the old days, oh, you hung up.
You there, Bob?
Yes, sir. I thought you hung up on me.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
What I was saying was, in the early 70s, I was taught by a student of Bruce Lee, and the moves he taught me, and just using your hands to fight. That's why I like MMA. When they're fighting and they're using their hands, tally ho. But when they start grappling and the referee will allow them a minute and a half of doing nothing, that's insanity, and people are being cheated out of their money. So if you want no more grappling in MMA, just pound the crap out of each other and may the best man win.
All right, Bob, I appreciate the call, because I'll be honest, I am not an expert when it comes to MMA. So if you want to get into the intricacies of some of the rules that they should tweak or change to make the sport better, I'm probably not the guy to debate on that. I'd listen to Bob or just about anybody else who wants to tell me what would make the sport better. I'm all for making the sport safer if there are ways to do that, but I tell you what, it has become a big enough business at this point that I don't think it's going away. So the question is, how do you make it safer while allowing it still to exist? Because as long as the purses and the prize money are the types of dollar figures that they're talking about and tossing around right now, you're going to have guys who want to sign up, risks and all. They're just going to say, I don't care. I want to get in that ring, I want to compete, and I want the chance at that money. So I think MMA is here to stay. Same with UFC. All right. Back to college basketball now, because it was a huge weekend. I have several principal parties to get to. Again, I just sat in awe at my desk yesterday watching Lipscomb in the first half of that game at the Atlantic Sun Tournament. On the road, this was a school that hadn't been to the Atlantic Sun Final since 2006. And that was a year when they had a shot. At that point, Casey Alexander was on the bench at Belmont, top assistant to Rick Byrd. And they were they were winning. Lipscomb was on top. Late in that game, Belmont gets a three-point play, goes to overtime. Bruins win. And remember, that was the first of 3 straight conference championships for Belmont at that point. They missed a year then in 2009, and since then, Belmont, this is an amazing stat, by the way. Belmont had won either the Conference USA regular season, sorry, not Conference USA. Their conference had won either their conference regular season or tournament title every year from 2010 through last season. For 8 consecutive seasons, they won one or the other or both. Finally had that streak snapped on Saturday. So in a 12-year span, they won one of the conference titles or both 11 times. Think about that for a second. And that's in 2 different leagues, by the way, moving from the Atlantic Sun to the Ohio Valley Conference. It is incredible domination from Belmont basketball, but it all starts with that overtime victory in 2006. Not to say that this is definitively how it happens, but is there a way to see if that one game goes differently? That the course of the 2 programs could have been different over the last decade or so? I think there is. I think there's a real possibility of that because that's how big an NCAA tournament bid at that level and that moment of cutting down the nets in championship week and then having your moment of being unveiled in the bracket, people talking about you for a few days, and then playing at least a game in the NCAA tournament. That's how big that moment is for these schools in the one-bid leagues. Ask Middle Tennessee how valuable the NCAA tournament has been to them the last couple of years. To not just get there, but to win games there. It could have changed things dramatically for Lipscomb over the last decade or so, but they finally get back yesterday. Casey Alexander, of course, now the head coach of the Bisons. He's done a tremendous job of just making them a really good program. He inherited a mess when he took over that job, a team that was really struggling. It was floundering near the bottom of the Atlantic Sun. They had APR issues with guys transferring and not graduating and having credits and being on track to graduate. I mean, they were in real danger of facing some potential sanctions because of that. But he very quickly righted the ship, cleaned up the program, got in good guys, and has made them a quality program over the last couple of years. And they've been to the semifinals each of the past couple of seasons. They haven't been able to get over that hump. This year they finally did, and they go down to Florida Gulf Coast and they play the half of a lifetime in the first half. Talk about no pressure. Talk about embracing the moment. They come out and they were just incredible. It was 24-9, 37-17. It was a 30-point lead in the first half. It just, everything went. Knocked down 9 threes in the first half, shot 69% from the field. Garrison Matthews with 26 points in the first half. Up until Florida Gulf Coast hit a 3 basically at the buzzer of the first half, the Eagles had 28 total points. Garrison Matthews by himself had 26. That's how good the half was for the Bison Star and for Lipscomb as a whole. Now again, as we said earlier, it got much more interesting in the second half as it probably should have, but that's what you expect when these 2 teams play because Lipscomb led by 18 in both regular season meetings. Florida Gulf Coast came back to win the game at Lipscomb, had a shot to tie the game in Fort Myers late in the season. So you knew Florida Gulf Coast was going to make a run at some point. But it turned out that a 32-point deficit was just too much to come back from. They got it within 5, but never got any closer. Marbury, Kenny Cooper, Matthews, and company able to get it done. So Casey Alexander and the Bison celebrate an Atlantic Sun championship for the first time ever and are now headed to the big dance for the first time ever. And we talked to Casey Alexander last night on the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central. John Burton had the honor of doing the interview.
And we are pleased to be joined on the phone by Lipscomb head coach Casey Alexander. Coach, congratulations. How's it feel to be heading to the NCAA tournament?
It feels pretty dang good. Not much better, I can tell.
Well, your team went crazy in the first half. They shot 67% from the field. Garrison Matthews had 26 points in that first half. You led by 29 at the half. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would have a first half like you did on the road in a championship game?
No, not a chance. No way to predict that. No way to even, reasonably expect something nearly that good. We got off to a good start. Garrison had the first 8 of the game. And then we just kind of incrementally built that lead and played about as perfect as you could play over a 20-minute span. So it was heated, as everybody who finished watching the game knows.
Well, the Eagles make a furious comeback in the second half, led by the Conference Player of the Year and Zach Johnson. They cut the lead to 5. How were your kids able to keep their composure and finish the game as strong as you did?
I don't think we did keep our composure. It was hard, and I know that I didn't. And so, they're going to naturally follow my lead. But it's both good and bad. The last time we were here, we experienced something very similar. We were up 17 with about 5 minutes to go, and they trimmed it to 1. And so we had the experience that we could draw from this time. So we were more prepared for moments like that, but we also have memories that can't happen to me. And it was really tough.
Well, we won't know for another week where or who you'll be playing. Selection Sunday coming up next Sunday. Is that almost a good thing? Because I imagine things on campus are going to be crazy all week. Yeah. Good to let the hoopla die down a little bit, and then you can concentrate on your first tournament game?
Well, it's not ideal from a basketball perspective, to have 12 days off until you play your next game. But it's great for Lipscomb. It's one of the benefits of our league finishing so early and being one of the first ones to punch a ticket that we're just going to get a ton of attention, which is great for the school, and it's part of the reason why we're doing this whole thing. And so we're going to reap the benefits over these next couple of days. We'll give them a few days off to rest, and then we'll get back at it as far as the team's concerned.
Finally, Coach, what does this win today mean not only for your program but for Lipscomb University?
You can't put them. You really just can't even quantify it. There's a lot of people that care a lot about our school, that believe in it, and know what a great place that it is. And so for our program to get to carry that torch out to the country and to let people hear about it and see about it and learn about it for the first time is really a remarkable thing, and one that we're very proud of. It's going to be a great experience. Hopefully, it's just one more step in the right direction for this team and this school, but it's where we are now, and we're happy about it and proud to be here.
Coach Casey Alexander, thanks a lot for joining us, and once again, congrats on winning the Atlantic Sun Tournament Championship.
Thank you. Appreciate it.